The window. The storm rattled the frame of the old Victorian house, but Silas didn't mind the noise. He sat in the oversized velvet chair by the bay window, the glow of his reading lamp casting long, jagged shadows across the floor. He liked the rain. It felt like a curtain drawn between him and the rest of the world. Tonight, he was completely alone, exactly how he wanted to be. A faint sound, a rhythmic tap-tap-tap, pulled his eyes from the page. Silas looked at the glass, expecting to see a branch caught in the wind. Instead, he saw a smudge, a gray, oily mark right at eye level. He reached out and rubbed the glass with his sleeve, but the mark didn't fade. It wasn't on the inside. Something had touched the window from the dark, wet garden outside. His phone buzzed on the armrest, the vibration making him jump. It was a video call from Alara. When he answered, her face was pale, lit only by the blue light of her own screen. "Silas, thank God," she whispered, her voice cracking. "My power just went out, and I saw someone in my yard. I think they're heading toward your street. Please, lock everything." "I'm sure it's just the wind, Alara," Silas said, though his heart began to thud against his ribs. He turned back to the window to show her the empty street, but as the light from his phone hit the glass, he didn't see the street. He saw a reflection. Standing directly behind him in the middle of the room was a figure, tall, skeletal, and wrapped in a soaking wet coat. Silas spun around, his heart leaping into his throat. The room was empty. The lamp flickered, but the shadows were still, and the door to the hallway was firmly shut. He took a shaky breath, laughing nervously at his own imagination. "There's no one here, Alara," he muttered into the phone, but when he looked down, the call had been disconnected. He turned back to the window to close the heavy curtains, wanting to block out the night. As his hand reached for the fabric, a pair of long, white fingers pressed against the glass from the outside. They were thin, the skin stretched tight over the bone, and they moved with a slow, sickening grace, tracing the outline of Silas's own hand. Panic surged through him. Silas grabbed the metal latch of the window, intending to double lock it, but the latch began to turn on its own. It creaked, the cold iron sliding upward as if an invisible key were turning it from the rainy darkness. He threw his weight against the sash, screaming as the window began to slide open, admitting a gust of freezing, metallic-smelling air. Blocks away, Alara sprinted through the rain, her breath coming in ragged gasps. She reached Silas's house and leaped onto the porch, pounding on the heavy oak door. "Silas, open up," she yelled, her voice lost in the thunder. She peered through the small decorative window in the door, her eyes searching the dark hallway for any sign of movement. Inside, she saw him. Silas was standing at the end of the hall, perfectly still. He was facing the bay window, his back to her. "Silas!" she screamed again, relief flooding her. He started to turn, but his movement was wrong, too fluid, too silent. As his face came into the light, Alara froze. The boy inside had Silas's clothes, but his eyes were nothing but hollow, dark pits. A wet, cold hand slammed against the glass next to Alara's head. She shrieked and turned toward the porch railing. There, huddled in the bushes and shivering in the downpour, was the real Silas. He was staring up at the window of his own house, watching his own reflection move through the living room, drawing the curtains shut with a slow, triumphant smile.